Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Everybody here? Everybody here in the back? All good? Awesome, awesome. My name is Matt Lepay. I'm very honored to be here as we say welcome home to an old friend. Very exciting times here at the University of Wisconsin. I want to give you a little bit of the rundown. I know some of you know, some of you may not. We will hear from our interim chancellor, Dr. Eric Wilcots. We will obviously hear from Shawn Eichorst. We'll spend a few minutes and just have a little chat, and then we will escort Shawn downstairs for a news conference, and then he will come back up and we will have our reception. So we're gonna have some fun here today. We have a lot of loyal Badgers, obviously, in this room. Those who have supported the University of Wisconsin and Badger athletics for years and years. We have coaches, past and present, who are here. And I would imagine Lone Rock, Wisconsin, fairly well represented here today, I think, which is great. And want to make special mention to one of our guests. There's a few things going on in the world of college athletics these days, but we're very grateful to welcome Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti here this afternoon with us. Well, let's get things started and bring up Dr. Wilcots. His time at UW-Madison began back in 1995 when he was a lecturer in the Department of Astronomy. The following year, he joined the faculty. So 3+ decades of experience at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. For the last 6 years, he was the Dean of the College of Letters and Science. And then on May 17th, not quite 2 months ago, his responsibilities changed just a little bit. But to say the least, he has hit the ground running. It is my honor to welcome the interim chancellor of the University of Wisconsin-Madison, Dr. Eric Wilcots.
Great. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Matt. Good afternoon, everybody. That's kind of quiet. Good afternoon, everybody. All right. This is supposed to be fun, by the way. So let's have a little fun. So thank you for that introduction. It is a great honor and privilege to be here with you all. I want to thank you all for being here on this really, really important day, not just for the Department of Athletics, but for the University of Wisconsin-Madison as a whole. I want to also thank the commissioner for joining us. Thank you for making that drive up. And I want to thank the Eichorst family, who is here in force. So thank you for joining us here this afternoon. Now, as Matt said, I've been here for a long time. And started in astronomy, had the privilege of serving as Dean of the College of Letters and Science, and now as interim chancellor. And along the way, and actually even before I got here, I got a little hint of what Badger athletics meant. When I was a postdoc in New Mexico, I remember one January day when one of the scientists at the observatory where I was working came up and said to me, "Now my grandfather can die in peace." And that seemed to be an odd thing to say. He says, because the Badgers won the Rose Bowl. So I knew there was something a little special about this place. And I've learned a lot about that in my 30 years here of what athletics means, not just to this campus, to this community here in Madison, to across the state and beyond. And I'm sure almost everybody in the room has had the experience. If you're wearing a Badger hat, there you are walking through the airport, somebody will say, "Go Badgers." And that tells me something about this place. I'm also a fan, and my family and I have been fans of Badger athletics since we came here. And I was reflecting on that a little bit earlier today, remembering a 4-overtime hockey game. Our kids were 12 and 10, and I'm glad it wasn't a school night, but we were there when Janelle Zog scored the 4-overtime winner against Harvard back in 2007. So Badger athletics has been important to me, not just in my job here, but also as a member of this community and as a fan. And so the importance, as I mentioned, is important to this university and important to the state. And I kept that in mind as we began this search for our next director of athletics. And in this rapidly evolving, ever-changing landscape of college athletics, it was important, paramount, that we find an individual with a tremendous amount of experience and tremendous amount of success at the highest levels in the environment that we are dealing with today. And so that was our deepest goal. I want to thank the search committee. I want to thank Lauren Bishop, who I'll thank again in a minute, for leading that effort. But what we did is to find that individual who could lead us in this really, really exciting, but also very challenging moment. And so now, on behalf of all of us here in the Badger community, I want to publicly welcome Shawn Eichorst as the 11th athletic director at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. No, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. Yeah, I'm not done yet. We got to work with it. Yeah, we'll get you in a second. So Shawn is a very thoughtful leader, and I've gotten to know him well, with a deep commitment to our student athletes, a deep commitment to success, but also somebody who has had that success at the highest levels, most recently at the University of Texas. And if you look at what they've done in their athletic program, that's something that really caught our eye. And so I think we have a great leader coming in to lead Badger athletics going forward. And Shawn, I know, we all know that this is a time of great change. And certainly a lot is going to be asked of leaders in college athletics. And I want you to know that I, as well as my leadership team, some of who are in the room right now, stand ready to help you and our coaches, the staff, the student athletes to succeed as we move into the future. So I've gotten to know Shawn and his wife Kristen a little bit, as we look forward to getting to know a little bit better when you get settled here. We've gotten to know each other, and so I really appreciate that. I'm excited to get you guys back to the terrace. Maybe as Matt and I were talking, maybe a little Culver's, get a butter burger or two, and visit some of your favorite places around Madison, around the city and the state. So I also want to take this time to extend my deepest thanks and appreciation to Marcus Sedbury for assuming the interim AD role in guiding this program with a steady and thoughtful leadership during this time of transition. Marcus, thank you. I also want to appreciate Professor Lauren Bishop, who is our search chair and one of our faculty athletic representatives, for her leadership and, again, for bringing this search to a successful conclusion. Lauren, thank you. And I want to say something as I wrap up here, that one of the things that is actually the thing that has kept me here for 30 years. This is an excellent university. Okay? I just want to let that sink in a minute. This is an excellent university in so many ways and on so many different levels. So our faculty and the research that they conduct, the education we provide, our students, our service to the state in the Wisconsin idea, all of those things are guided by our longstanding values. And so from almost every perspective, that excellence of this institution is also reflected in our athletic department. Our student athlete welfare and success, our facilities, our donor and fan support, the traditions, our commitment to Olympic sports are all excellent. And I see a program that is solidly in the top echelon, as you all know, of college athletics and primed to take another step forward. So I want to continue to build and extend that legacy of excellence. And it is so important to so many people. And it is so important to this institution and this state. So Shawn, I really look forward to working with you and the entire athletic department leadership team. Cannot wait to see what we're going to achieve working together. On Wisconsin. So Shawn, I want to welcome you to the podium. And now we can't have an event without a few gifts. So here you are, sir. Oh, we got to go to this side. Apparently, according to the photographers, we got to go to this side. And then we're going to. It's Greg. We got a script. You know, it's like a play. You gotta do. Right, now you can turn around. There we go. There we go. Yeah. All right, we're not done. Now we talk about excellence and we talk about championships. So we got to bring this one out too.
Yes, sir.
There we go.
All right. Let's get this party started.
Thanks, sir. The podium's all yours.
Thank you, Dr. Wilcots. Thank you, Matt. Thanks, everybody, for being here today. It's an honor to rejoin
the Wisconsin Athletics family. This is an emotional day for me because this place means so much to me and my family in the short time that we spent here. My journey from Lone Rock, Wisconsin has taken me across the nation, from being a first-gen college student athlete, gone to law school, got involved in Division III athletics and administration, and across this country with some of the finest Division I athletic programs. But there's truly nothing like Wisconsin and the pride that comes with being a Badger. I believe Wisconsin represents everything that is great about higher education and college athletics. The academic excellence, the competitive distinction, the integrity, the commitment to serving one another. Today wouldn't be possible without the leadership and vision of Dr. Wilcots. I thank you so much for the care that you took throughout the process. Our chair of the committee, Lauren Bishop, thank you so much for stewarding the process, and all those members of the search committee. I thoroughly enjoyed the process because the process educated me more about the University of Wisconsin since I'd been here, and the passion that I have for this place, the inspiration that this place brings to me was so important to me at the end of the day. So I just really enjoyed the process, and I thank you so much for the care that you took during that time. I would be remiss not to thank Chris Delconte, President Jim Davis at the University of Texas. I had the opportunity to work with an amazing group of people. Kevin Alteif, our chairman. I had 3 presidents at Texas, and they were all excellent. Greg Fenves, Jay Hartzell, Jim Davis. The thing that made us great at Texas is because we cared about the educational mission and where athletics played a role in that, to enhance that mission. And there are so many similarities between the University of Texas and the University of Wisconsin. Iconic, world-class institutions, Research One. More importantly, they care about their people within their state. And so I'm so very thankful for my 8 years there. It's the longest run that Chris and I had within an athletics department, and it was a blessing on many levels. Obviously, I got to thank my family, my lovely wife, Chris, and the rock of our family. My son, Joe, is here today. My 2 boys, Jack and Bennett, are back in Austin working. My mom, my sister, my niece, her husband, all the great people in my family. I'm just so blessed and honored that, they showed me a ton of resilience during times. And so I'm so very thankful for you, and more importantly, for you to be able to share this opportunity with me. I believe that athletics, as I said, when it advances the university, it fulfills its mission. And so one of the things that I think about every day in today's environment is how do we maintain the integrity of higher education and what we're doing athletically? Without athletics in my life, without a high school coach, Howard Murphy, living across the street, pouring into me, I didn't even know that college was a thing back when I was growing up. But him showing me the power of athletics and how you can leverage that in an academic setting, that's real to me. And that's got to be more of a bedrock of what we think about and talk about. And having an opportunity to talk to all of our head coaches over the course of the last couple of days, and our donors and our fans and our supporters, they're so fired up about Wisconsin and what it means from an academic perspective. I think that just is a great distinction for us to continue to lead in that way. And so that's really important to me. Our student athletes will be at the heart of everything we do and every decision we make, but that will be through our head coaches. Our head coaches will be at the tip of the spear for us. They're the ones that are out there finding the best and the brightest to come to Wisconsin and help transform their lives. So we're going to pour everything into our head coaches. They're going to pour everything into our student athletes. I appreciate all the coaches and student athletes who have showed up today. My commitment to you is that you're going to be the first thing we think about when we wake up in the morning, and the last thing that we think about when we go to bed, because that's what we're all about. We're all about the business of education, developing young people. The Wisconsin idea is alive and well, right? Getting out into our communities, using our research to change lives, all those other sorts of things. There's a physics place on this campus that, they're splitting the atom. In athletics, we're not splitting the atom, okay? We're changing lives. one at a time, okay? And the way you do that is being authentic and genuine in the way that you go about bringing people into your program, nurturing them, educating them, and then rolling them out into society. That's what this is all about, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it that way. To our coaches and staff, I look forward to partnering with each and every one of you. But more importantly, over the last couple of days, all we've been talking about is building relationships. You know, it's been 15 years since I've been on campus, but building relationships and the way you go about doing that, right? The genuine, authentic, sort of all those things, communicating, building trust. You know, once you can do all of that stuff, then you can start planning and putting those things into motion. But if you don't have deep-seated relationships, it's hard to really dig in and get accomplished what it is that you talk about, right? We talk a lot about what it is we're going to do. More importantly, it's what you do. It's not about the talk. It's about what you do. So coaches, you have my commitment. Staff, you have my commitment to work shoulder to shoulder with you to move this thing forward. You know, to all Badger Nation, you know, please know that nobody will work harder for Wisconsin athletics. You know, I love this state, and I love everything that it represents. And so the passion is there. You can see it. I don't have to make it up. I've lived it. It's in my heart. You know, we will live and breathe the principles that have defined generations of Badgers: hard work, integrity, competitive fight. No expectations for all of us will be greater than my own, as those are solely tied to achieving excellence. And so my commitment is to strive for that every single day, and everything that we do. Everything matters. You know, I just go back to our head coaches. They are an elite group of leaders on this campus. They are experts in guiding and building teams and all those things. And so I'm going to spend a lot of time with our head coaches, really learning more. I never coached. And so, but I know what that looks like when it's done right. And I've been around some really good ball coaches. So I'm really looking forward to building those relationships. You know, we owe that to all the student athletes and campus and fans to strive for excellence every day. That's our standard. It will always be our standard, and that will make us proud at the end of the day. There's no other way of putting it. I'm thrilled to be home. I think you guys can see it. And so it's great to come home. It's really an amazing sort of opportunity. But the reason why I'm standing up here is all the people that have poured into me. Coach Alvarez, Cindy, all the people in this room that I had stretches of time to spend with. It was just, again, about relationships and about authenticity and about genuineness. More than anything, it's about resiliency, right? It's the Wisconsin idea. It's about, you know, Wisconsinites, when they fall down, they get back up. They dust themselves off. But more importantly, they got people around them that help them do that, right? It's hard to do these things on your own. You have to be a part of a galvanized team to be resilient and move forward. You know, it's just truly a great day to be a Badger. That's really all I have to say, other than I'm really, really super privileged and honored to be in front of you and to represent this great university on Wisconsin.
Yes, sir. There you go. Well done. Well done. Okay, now the real tough questions are coming before the softball. By the way, I did not say this when we take Shawn downstairs for the news conference with members of the Wisconsin media and beyond. It is being televised live on BTN, so you'll be able to see that on the screens here. So I guess with that, we'll proceed here for the next few minutes. With all due respect to the great author Thomas Wolfe, I guess you can come home again, sir. Welcome home. You've touched on it. It's an emotional time. When you got the call saying we would like you to be the next director of athletics, I've always known you to be a fairly even-keeled guy. What was that moment like for you, for Kristen and your family, when it was, Shawn, we want you to be the director of athletics here?
Surreal at the end of the day. it was a moment that I had dreamt about and thought about. And to have that come to reality, mainly for all of those people who poured into me. And, you know, I've always stood about helping people and move them along and help them to be more successful. And I learned that from all of the great mentors that I've been around. So the reflection point for me was all of those people that helped me get there. And obviously my wife she's a huge Badger, as everybody knows, she's a super fan, and she loves this place and she loves everything about Wisconsin and Wisconsin sports. So as much as it meant to me, it meant even more to her.
I could tell, actually, seeing her a few minutes ago. Very fired up, as we all are. Dr. Wilcots, for you, when you went through this process, you and the committee and the search firm, what's the separator? What makes Shawn the right
Yeah,
fit?
I think some of the things I touched on, right? You look at experience, success at the highest level, innovation, right? Some of the things that Shawn has done during his career that haven't gotten a lot of press, but thoughtful innovation about where college athletics needs to go, right? But then you look at what he's been able to accomplish at the University of Texas over the last 7-8 years, being part of a program, 5 out of 6 Directors' Cups, 2 appearances in the college football playoffs, right? Tremendous success, but also tremendous success at an institution that is very much like ours, right? So understands that landscape, cares deeply. Because every conversation I have with him starts with student athletes. And so as somebody who's really passionate about it, but also somebody who wants to lean in to being at a university, right? And lean in and understand how it works and get to make the connections. All of those things add up, right? To that separation, as you put it.
And Shawn, you touched on this in your remarks, but to pick up on what Dr. Wilcots is saying, we know things changed significantly July 1, 2021. I'll ask you about Texas, things you learned there that can apply here. But you have talked in interviews even this week. This isn't the NBA. This isn't the NFL. It's still about education. That's a component that I would imagine will not change here moving forward. You want to help the student athlete in and out of the athletic arena.
Yeah, it cannot change. I mean, Wisconsin has to be a leader in the idea that it's an educational endeavor, and we have the opportunity to bring students in and through the lens of athletics and all the things that go with that, help enhance their education, because that's what's going to set them up for the rest of their lives. And so I'm a firm believer in that, and I want to have a strong voice to make sure that we're staying centered on that deal. And so it's been frustrating. Quite frankly, there's a lot of terminology out there, buzzwords. You know, our separator is education. You know, it's not the professional stuff. They have their own terminology and vernacular and all that other sort of stuff. I want us to lean back into these great institutions that we have the opportunity to bring young people in and change their lives. And you change their lives through education. You know, the ball and the bats and all that, that's all going to stop at some point in time. And so, and I learned it from Coach Alvarez and Coach Holtz. I mean, you give me 4 and I'm going to give you 40 or 50. That's real. That's real. But you got to be about that. And that's different in today's environment. I want Wisconsin to be distinctly different in that regard, because I think our separator is this institution, and it is world class. And so I'll put that up against anyone as we start to think about how we're going to go about this in this era, which is ever changing. But education is what, I mean, there's all kinds of people in this room wouldn't be in this room without running that journey.
Dr. Wilcots, this next question, we're getting the answer actually as we speak here, but the importance to you, the committee, to go through the process to get an athletics director now. Take us through that. Why is that important now?
You know, looking at how the landscape is changing, and it is changing rapidly. Commissioner knows this all too well. Probably every 24 hours, something changes. But I felt it was really important for this institution to have that settled, to have a leader in place, because the times are changing so rapidly, and the sooner we could do that, the better. And so that's why we proceeded. But at the same time, right, to do it in a way that is thoughtful, meaningful, doing the right things, getting a great committee, hiring one of the best search firms in the country to help us do that process. So do the process right, get the right leader, but to get that individual onboarded in place so to help us lead us through what are really, really turbulent times in college athletics. Some of the things that Shawn has hinted at, some of the things the commissioner knows all too well.
Shawn, I know this has been a whirlwind here these last several days. I'll ask it anyway. In the coming weeks, athletics, what are some of the things on your to-do list as the director of athletics here?
Building relationships, reconnecting with some people that I know, learning about people I haven't worked with yet. So for me, over the course of the last 4 days, I've spent a lot of time on the phone, connecting with our stakeholders, talking with our head coaches, staff members. And so for me, it's just immersing myself into what it is that we're doing. It's important for me to spend time building relationships so I can get to know people. What's your why? What's driving you? Those people who have been here for a stretch, what are we doing well? What can we improve upon? Those new people who are transitioning in are really important people because they're coming very similar to me, coming in and getting a lay of the land. So for me, it's looking, it's learning through the listening and all that other sort of stuff. So I want to get out and about and learn as much as I can so I can start to help us figure out what we might need to do, continue to do what we're doing, or what we might need to change along the way. So I'll be just spending a lot of time out and about.
Dr. Wilcots, I know you mentioned Professor Bishop. I want to really recognize the search committee. That is a distinguished group of Badgers, Michael Finley, Megan Duggan, I know Maria Pienka is here, and the list goes on, plus the search firm. Tell us about that group, how it worked together, and getting that group of distinguished individuals together.
I'm going to tell you what struck me, and this is about the sort of the theme, the importance of Badger athletics and how Badgers care. So as you know, as you mentioned, 3 really, really distinguished Badger athletes, right, who've gone on to tremendous success in the professional sports realm. I think between the 3 of them, it took a total of 10 seconds to get a yes, I'm going to help out. Okay. They cared. They wanted to be part of the process. Lauren did a great job chairing that committee. And so I want to thank. So the committee worked super well together. We're going to say a great search firm. But what struck me as I was going through, how do we build this committee? How do we make sure we're looking at a lot of different stakeholders, a lot of different perspectives? But when I called them, and I literally said, we're putting together a search firm. Yes. And that told me something that this is a special moment, a special group of people.
Shawn, I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, again, you've touched on it a little bit. You'll obviously get more specific questions in a few minutes. But you've been in high-level athletic administration for a long time. And for those who don't know, Shawn has worked at schools in each of the Power 4 conferences. Miami in the ACC, obviously South Carolina in the SEC days. Remember, Texas was a Big 12 school until 2 years and about a week ago when the Longhorns transitioned into the SEC. But obviously the world changed significantly. There's a lot of change in college athletics, but 5 years and 6 days ago. What are some of the things at Texas that you and your team were able to implement that can translate here to Wisconsin to help the Badgers?
Well, as Dr. Wilcots said, there are so many similarities from the University of Texas at Austin and the University of Wisconsin at Madison, just in the way in which, research one big public flagship capital city. And so what I take is the relationships that we built and the foundations that we put in place that were very much driven towards academics. And so that fits well with what we're doing here. So we've been very progressive in all the things that we've done there as it would relate to supporting the student athletes and providing the coaches the resources that are necessary in order to be successful. But as we talked about during the process, I think everybody looks at the end result of what we did at Texas. When we got there in 2018, we weren't very good in a lot of areas. And that didn't change overnight. So we spent a lot of time being very intentional. First, we like I'm going to try to do here is really understand what the landscape is and the people and all that other sort of stuff. Just like Wisconsin, they have passionate fans. We have passionate fans. So all of that stuff for me is informative, but we're going to do it distinctly our way, right? And that's our advantage, the way that we're going to go about doing it. But a lot of the stuff is the same at the end of the day. If you're really, really in it for all the right reasons and you're intentional about the things that you're doing. And so as we built that foundation and we grew our audience through our social media channels, as we grew our support, as we grew everything that we did, that once we started to have success, we were able to scale it very rapidly, if that makes sense. And so we didn't get the cart before the horse. Everybody talks about money whipping this thing and all that other sort of stuff. There'll be a time where we'll be talking about resource growth and all that other sort of stuff. But before you can get there, you've got to understand where the foundation of the house is, and before you can start building upon that. And we have a really good foundation here because this is just an iconic place. And so that's the way I think I can bring some of the things that we did here to be very distinct to what we as Wisconsinites do and what the University of Wisconsin is all about.
Last one for you. I said you can go home again. Home's changed. What do you think? This is pretty nice here, isn't it?
This is pretty nice. There's no doubt about it. This is what success brings, right? At the end of the day. So this is fantastic.
Dr. Wilcots, congratulations.
Thank you.
to
Appreciate it.
all
Great.
of you. Absolutely. Dr.
Thanks, Matt.
Wilcots, Shawn Eichorst. We'll get Shawn down. We'll get Shawn downstairs. You can watch it on the video screens, then we'll come back up on the reception.